I'm here at the magnificent Hampton Court Palace, and not only is it open to the public, but it's the home to the Royal School of Needlework, who have worked on the coronation regalia for King Edward VII, George V, George VI, Queen Elizabeth II, and more recently, King Charles III and Queen Camilla. And I'm here to visit the studio as they're also working on the Earl of Sandwich's, our family's coronation robes, and I cannot wait to see the progress. When I married into the British aristocracy, it was the start of a wonderfully exciting journey. But for an American girl from a small town outside Chicago, that was also a little daunting.
I live with my husband Luke, the Earl of Sandwich, and our family at Mapperton House in Dorset.
Living in a place like this is a joy, but also a challenge. And every day we're aware that we're preserving a very special part of Britain's heritage. Mapperton has opened up an extraordinary new world for me, and I can't wait to share it with you all.
So if you love castles and manors and stately homes as much as I do, please join this American Countess as I journey into the British countryside in search of some of Britain's finest historic houses. The coronation robes, last worn by the Earl of Sandwich to the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II in 1953, had been somewhat lost until we recently discovered them in an old wooden chest at Mapperton.
Julie.
You found them!
Well, I found part of them.
What?
Yeah.
What? Oh, you did! You did!
She gets very overexcited.
Oh my gosh!
No, so that is. We're not.
No, because I haven't, I didn't know that this was.
Look how fragile this is. So this is the waistcoat that would be worn under the robes.
Oh my gosh, you guys, so excited.
Okay, so you're holding on to that.
Yeah. By the way, do you think that this can be repaired?
Well,
it has to be.
everything can be repaired.
Okay, well.
But it's so fragile that we need to be very, very careful.
I'm gonna put it here, Luke.
So we've got two more chests.
Oh my gosh.
We've got that one and we've got this one.
Gosh.
This is the coronet. How amazing.
Oh my gosh, the robe. Oh my gosh.
I
My gosh.
tell you what, let's lay it out.
Did we find? This
Let's
is
lay it out.
crazy.
Okay. There it is.
Whoa.
Look at that.
Hold on.
That is quite something, isn't it? Now this is in rather better condition
Than the other one.
than the waistcoat,
Well, you say that.
I think.
And there's some bits there, but.
It feels like it to me. So you've got the inside, the silk lining. It's got a pocket. Gosh, it would be fun to find something in the pocket. The pocket has disintegrated on that side and on this side. And then looking around this way, you've got the velvet and the ermine. It's incredibly heavy, and you can imagine wearing this for hours on end as an elderly peer of the realm. First of all, you'd be incredibly hot, and it would be weighing you down. And secondly, incredibly difficult to walk because you've got this long train coming after you. I don't know how they managed.
I'm just in awe right now.
Although the color of the velvet was still vibrant, it was clear that we needed to conserve the robes to safeguard them for the future.
They're really, really fragile, and they need some massive repair. So you can see the silk here needs repair, and this is the waistcoat.
What an absolutely wonderful response to our fundraising efforts and the huge generosity of the Royal School of Needlework. The robes are being restored at Hampton Court Palace.
Let's see if this works. What a wonderful sound. Hello.
How are you?
Hi. Good. How are you? So nice to see you, Gemma.
Great to see you too.
I can't wait to see the robes.
Come on in, let's have a look.
So excited.
So welcome to the studio.
Wow. Oh my goodness, this is like my dream job. This is just what I want to. It's mindful, it's craft, it's wonderful environment.
Lovely.
And here they are.
Here you go, something very special to look at. I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yes. Oh my gosh, well they already look so much better, the robe and the waistcoat. But before I get into this, can you tell me just a little bit about the history of the Royal School of Needlework?
Yeah, so the Royal School of Needlework was founded in 1872. It was founded by Lady Victoria Welby, and the aim of the school was to give educated women who may have lost their husband or their father a career, a source of income.
Right.
And it was a much smaller outfit then, so we were a bonnet shop, above a bonnet shop, sorry, in Sloane Square in London. So much smaller than a palace today.
Right, right.
And we came here in 1987, and our patron at the time was the Queen Mother, so the late Queen Elizabeth II, her mum, was our patron.
Okay, fantastic.
And she sourced the rooms here, and we've been here ever since. And I think you'll agree it's not a bad location for work.
It's fantastic, and also
Yeah.
just seeing everybody just sort of diligently working, and it's such a wonderful craft as well.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, all by hand.
We are very lucky. We have a fantastic team of professional embroiderers. So everybody who works in the studio has come through the school, whether that's the apprenticeship or the Future Tutor programme. So they really are the best of the best. And it's vital because it means we work on a variety of commissions, conservation, restoration and new. And not everybody is here every day. So in having a team such as that size, it means we can work on multiple projects and it will look like the work of one. So that's something we really pride ourselves on. So they really are the best.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. And of course, you've also worked on Coronation regalia, I think dating back to Edward VII,
Yes,
is that right?
Yeah, so we had a very busy year last year, which was fantastic. There were 9 commissions that we worked on. So I'll list them sort of in order.
Right.
So we had His Majesty's Robe of State.
Right.
So the crimson robes that he wore into the Abbey.
Okay.
So they were conserved.
So King Charles III is walking into the Abbey, and you conserved those,
Yes,
is that right?
so those robes were worn by his grandfather.
Okay.
So really lovely to work on those, and you are literally holding history in your hands. It's the most surreal feeling.
So that would be, let me give it, so that would be George V. George VI was his grandfather.
Yes.
There we go.
So he wore those robes. Then I'm trying to think of order now of the ceremony. So then we had the anointing screen, which was placed around the monarch when he was anointed.
Yes.
So that was a really special piece because that was a collaboration with a lot of the members from the school. So our core team, and then we had additional embroiderers come in, everybody who's come through the school. And then we had some other members of our students team and staff were able to work on that as well. And that was a combination of machine embroidery and hand embroidery. Then we had the Stole Royal, which was placed around the king.
Right.
We restored the sword belt or the girdle. Then we had 4 throne chairs, so the 2 chairs of state, 2 chairs of estate, and then the really special piece was Her Majesty Queen Camilla's Robe of Estate, which we designed and created here in our studios at Hampton Court.
And that was the purple one, is that right?
That was the purple with the goldwork embroidery.
Incredible. So
Yeah.
can you just remind me the difference between the robe of state and the robe of estate? What's the difference?
I'm not a historian, but from our understanding, it was the colour. So that's how we distinguish.
Okay.
Red is in, purple is out.
Gotcha.
But then when you do the throne chairs, it goes the other way around. So the chairs of estate had the ciphers on there, and then the chairs of state had the coat of arms. Wow. I'm hoping that's right. So it's a lot to remember, and you're learning as you're doing it as well. And we were really lucky because nothing can be done before the monarch passes, and we never expect or assume.
Right.
But it was an absolute privilege and a wonderful way to showcase what we can do here as a team. And everything was worked on here at Hampton Court, not necessarily in this room,
Right.
but it was worked on here.
I mean, it was just
Brilliant.
absolutely beautiful and just exquisite
Yeah.
to, of course, watch the coronation. But now that I'm going
Yeah.
to go back and rewatch it now.
Oh, it was
now that I know that
amazing.
you've done sort of 9 pieces for that,
Yeah.
I'm going to look much closer.
I think there was one point in the ceremony where all of our pieces were on display and it was wow. I mean, what a better showcase to the world of what we here at the Royal School of Needlework can do.
Yeah.
And
did you have some type of celebration sort of once it was sort of handed over?
Yeah, so Anne and I, our head of studio,
Yeah.
were in the Abbey the week leading up to, so we were able to sort of oversee that everything was handled as it should be. And then on the day itself, some of our team were on the memorial out opposite the palace, so they
Right.
a bit wet, but that didn't
Yeah, yeah.
dampen anyone's spirits. And then a lot of us were at home eating a lot of cake, drinking a
Yeah.
lot of fizz, and
Yeah.
just celebrating because it was just fantastic
Yeah.
to be a part of that. And
Of course,
yeah,
exactly.
magic.
And nobody does sort of pomp and circumstance quite like
No.
the Brits.
And I think we were so pleased and thrilled that they did because it was just fantastic. You know, it was a real celebration.
Yeah.
And we are very lucky because Queen Camilla is our patron. So to do that for her
Right.
was the perfect gift. And there are special emblems on the robe that represent that partnership. So one flower in particular is a pincushion flower. And it was just a very gentle nod. So the pincushion representing us and that partnership. And yeah,
Fantastic.
so it was really, really special.
Okay,
and,
really
yeah.
special. I'm definitely going to go back
Okay.
and watch. Now, my last question before we get into the robes, of course, the wedding dress of the Princess of Wales.
Yes. So
It was done here.
it was done here.
Yeah.
Yes. So again, I was very lucky to be a part of the team that worked on that, and a lot of our team here as well have been. And that was a really, really special commission. So we didn't necessarily know who had designed it. It was a collaboration, but we were responsible for all the hand embroidery. So the lace motifs on all the panels on the dress, on the veil, on the shoes, on the bridesmaids' dresses, and again, all done here by our team, by hand. So there was lots of sort of clandestine sort of windows covered up.
Yeah, I
and
was about to
things
say, 'cause
because
it had to-
secrecy. We are known here for our discretion, and that is something we hold on to because it's so important when you are given the responsibility of these commissions
Yeah.
to maintain. And it's a wedding and it's magic. You know, no bride wants her dress leaking.
Yeah.
And so we did all of that here. And again, that was such a surreal feeling when she stepped out in what we like to call our dress.
Right, yeah.
It was so wonderful. And it's always an endorsement of hand embroidery and what can be done by
Yes.
hand, and those heritage crafts and techniques, and keeping them alive because it's so important, and that's what we do.
And it is, and that's exactly right. And that's exactly what's happening
Yeah.
here. You're keeping these coronation robes
Absolutely.
alive.
So the combination keeps going for us. So this has been, again, a fantastic piece to work on.
So, I remember bringing these here, sort of the robe, the waistcoat, and then the coronet for the Earl and the coronet
Yeah.
for the Countess. And I remember arriving a bit of horror because, of course, when I opened up the trunk and it was wrapped in the acid-free paper, we found a few creatures, friends. And you were
Yeah.
incredibly fast at rushing to get them off. And then what happened after sort of the moths were discovered?
Yeah, so what we did is we removed as much as we could initially just to lift anything off there. So we used a conservation vacuum to remove those. Obviously all the contents of that get removed because
Right.
we are in a historic palace and there are other pieces, so we can't risk sort of that growing. And then the item was, the robe was carefully packaged, and then it went off to a huge freezer, so and on site here, and it was frozen at minus 30 degrees.
Wow, minus 30 degrees Celsius.
Yes.
So, wow.
Yes. So what that does is that freezes anything that is alive, was alive, and it just stops. It doesn't
Right.
damage the textile, which is the most important thing as well, because you have to be really careful given the history and the age.
Yes.
So it was frozen, and it came back to us, and then we were able to begin our work. on
Right.
there. So there was nothing live anymore.
Right. And how long did that process take again?
That takes approximately about a
process.
week.
Okay.
Yeah. So from it being frozen and then coming out, because if something is frozen, obviously it has to cool down a bit more.
Yeah.
Let it chill. So yeah, about a week. But it's the safest thing to do, and it just means for you as well, going forwards, it's not going to cause any damage at Mapperton.
Right. Exactly.
So it's safe to be handled and displayed, and
incredible. So where we are today and what you've done so far, I mean, look, the robes already look completely different from when I dropped them off.
Well, it's the vibrancy of that velvet, that red already, isn't it? It's kind of screaming out. It's and it's actually, the velvet is in a really good condition, and sort of things that have deteriorated are things that you would expect with normal sort of garments. So areas around the neckline, pockets, because they would have been functional.
Right,
so
exactly. I
it's
don't
not
even know if I'd
unusual.
even noticed the pockets before.
We were intrigued to know what might have been in there in a coronation robe.
Yes, nothing.
Yeah, so it's not unsurprising that areas like this have gone, because you imagine as well the weight of that on your neck.
Yes.
As well as medallions or any sort of
Yes,
jewels
of
that would have
course,
been
of
worn as
course.
well. So that would put strain. So around here, normally around your shoulders. Hems again, because the robe is long, so it's being trailed along the floor. So actually the bottom of the robe isn't too bad. So we've concentrated sort of our method, so it's been cleaned, but now it is repairing and supporting.
Right, so it's really stabilizing as well.
Yep, so
in
these
bits.
aren't going to be worn again.
No. And
yeah,
so they're and they weren't worn at last year at the coronation either. The last time these robes were worn were 1953 for the coronation of Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, and we do know that we have letters talking about that coronation. And I know that these robes were also worn by the 9th Earl and Countess of Sandwich, and she was also an American. So the 9th Countess of Sandwich is an American like me from Chicago, Alberta Sturgis, and we have proof of this because she was a meticulous archivist actually, and diarist. And we found in her diary recently, she talks about the abdication in 1936 of King Edward VIII. And then fast forward to May 1937, she then references that they were there, and she talks about saying that they were in the 3rd row in the Abbey, very close to King George VI.
How exciting.
So
actually our worlds do meet, because we would have done robes and canopies and things at those coronations as well. So how funny they come back together.
Exactly. So
yeah.
Just describe to me, I guess, the process. You've got like netting around.
Yes. So this here is a conservation net. So it's tricky to see. It is a very fine, soft net, and we use this because you can place it over textiles or underneath or in case, and it supports. But as you can see, when it's on, you hardly see it at all. With the strength and the softness, which sounds strange, it can be moulded, it can be pleated, so ideal for what we've done around the neckline here.
Right, and what do you call this?
Right, so
this sort of, I guess,
technique.
What is the word I'm looking for? Technique, thank you.
So what we've done is, so there were a sort of number of splits around the edge. So we have cut a strip of the net, placed that over the top, pinned it in position, and then we are surface couching. So Jess here has been working on the robe. So using a very fine curved needle, because we're not just deconstructing the item, so we're going through, and that just allows us to stitch but not pick up anything from the other side.
Clever.
Bit fiddly to use, but once you get used to using them,
once you've been trained,
it's a vital tool for your kit. It's amazing. And these come in different sizes, but we've got quite a small one here. So yeah, we're surface couching, and this is almost sort of like bricking your stitches. So you see we've got a row here, and then we're going over the top, and we're just stabbing down.
I see.
And this is our invisible thread. What I love when we talk to customers about invisible thread is we've got about 1,000 different colours of this.
Right.
So it's invisible to whatever you're using.
Right, okay.
But again, you can see it's quite strong.
You feel that. Oh yeah,
but you can't see.
And
it's
you
ideal.
really can't. It's very hard for me to see it right now, and even up against that. So you can match it in one sense.
So it just means what we're doing is we're just sort of, and we always match it to the textile that we're doing. These types of repairs are discreet, so we don't want them sort of noticeable. And then, so we have surface couched all the way along here, and then we are then doing a sort of stab running stitch along here, and then we will trim this net back. So it will be flush.
I see, so it'll be completely flush.
Yeah, and what that does, it just stops any movement, it stops the splits growing, and just holds everything as it is now.
Incredible. And I can see Jess is using that needle.
Yeah, so this is the undercoat, the little waistcoat that goes with. So again, not unexpected, at the neckline here, it has come away.
Yeah.
So what we're doing here is we've got a little bit of red cotton underneath, forming a support fabric, and then we are surface couching again across the split there.
Surface couching.
And that just stops it moving.
I'm just gonna watch Jess do this, I see. So you go in one, sorry Jess, I hope, you're probably used to people watching you, and then next to it I see.
So then I'm working the really small stitches over the top of the thread I've just laid across.
Right.
And you alternate your stitches a bit like brickwork. It just helps spread the strain. So you've not just got one continual line. So if there is any movement, if it were to be worn, then it would move with the fabric.
Right, I can see how Jess is sort of moving that along. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And
so it's a very versatile technique. So you can use it that way, you can use it that way. It can be upsized, so for larger hangings and things as well, you can do it, and you just vary your width and your size of your stitches.
Incredible, but it's a real detailed technique and one that obviously you need to have lots of training around.
Yeah. And we're very careful because obviously it, as I say, it's not been deconstructed, so we are very mindful of how we're handling it. So with the trim, it has been hoovered, but there is still some sort of fluff that can come off.
Yes,
so you'll see here we have encased as much as we can with the acid-free tissue, and that just prevents a lot of fluff.
Yeah,
it will have another clean before it comes back to you.
Right.
But you can see already, just with a little bit of handling, we get a bit of fluff.
Yeah,
so it's just sort of keeping that all
protecting
clean.
that, and I can see here you've done the netting on this because this pocket is much
so this one
more
has,
fragile than that one.
Yeah, so it depends. I mean, we assess every time we get a garment, you have to establish, is it going to be worn or is it not? So we know this isn't going to be worn, so we don't need to make the pockets functional.
No.
If it was to be reused, we would take a pattern from the original and then make a new matching fabric as close to. We're always mindful when we're putting things back, they need to be sympathetic to what's already there.
Yes.
So we would choose a colour that is like this. We wouldn't put a bright white or anything on.
Right.
It just wouldn't work. But these aren't being reused. So we have again used the net, and we have encased the whole pocket. And rather than surface couching, because it is so brittle, we're actually doing a very tiny running stitch inside each of the holes and the splits. And again, that just stops any movement. And that's done with the curved needle because we can't go through to the red velvet on the other side.
Incredible. And so it looks like this one's, you've finished that one.
So that one's finished, so this one's part way. So the next stage for this one, so the net's on, and then we will begin going round the holes here.
And then just stabilising that.
Yeah. The thing with silk like this as well, it's a bit like a puff pastry, so if you put a needle in that, it's just going to break.
Right.
So what we want to do is we want to hold on to what we've got.
Yes, yes.
Because it's history.
It's
a part
history.
of its makeup. So yeah.
And speaking of pockets, I mean, you know, I'm sure that there were many hands that went into those pockets. They didn't have mobile phones back then, lucky them. But hands and probably handkerchiefs.
I wonder if there was some binoculars if you were at the top of the of the stand. But
exactly.
it depends.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So this is obviously the robe and the waistcoat being worked on now.
Yes.
What else have you found with the robe and the waistcoat that in particular really needed some looking at and deciding where to go with it?
Yeah, I think it was just supporting, really.
Yeah.
There weren't any sort of big surprises. I mean, the velvet is in a fantastic condition because it's not uncommon for robes sort of where the seams are.
Yes.
Quite often they split or there's tears, but there haven't been. So we have had the whole robe laid out. It's quite huge in size, which is amazing.
Yes.
But there haven't really been any sort of big surprises, which is great, but it makes supporting it and stabilising it just quite a nice process.
Right, okay.
Which is good. Yep.
Fantastic. And so time-wise, because you're still working on it now.
Yes.
When are you expecting this project to be complete?
Yes, there's not much longer left to do. So once the pocket's done and the supporting here, we have the coronets to give a surface clean to.
Yes.
And then it will have one final surface clean with the
Right.
conservation vacuum, and then it's yours. So not long.
Okay.
Couple of weeks or
So
so.
great. Oh my gosh, couple
Yes.
of weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, last question then is once the conservation has been finished,
Yes.
and obviously these are not being worn again.
Yeah.
And I'm, probably if I were to ever display them again, it wouldn't be until the next coronation.
Yeah.
And that's an if, because
Yeah.
obviously I want to keep these, making sure that they can last for and preserve for future generations. As far as storing them,
Yeah.
what is your suggestion?
So our suggestion is, we always say, we big sort of archive boxes, which are clean, have not sort of anything in there, anything else that can contaminate, and then the robe will be wrapped in acid-free tissue.
Great.
And then it will be folded in such a way that there's not any heavy creases or any folds, because if things are left folded, that's quite often where you find sort of wear and tear. And then we say store it somewhere, possibly, dependent on space, that is a steady temperature.
Right.
So not extreme, so not really, really cold, despite the freeze treatment.
Right,
Not
right,
really,
right,
really cold.
right.
Or really warm, or moist, or
Yes.
damp conditions like that. But if you were to display it, which you could, because it's supported and
Yes,
strong
yes.
enough now, and you wanted to, you can display it on a mannequin. That'd be
Yep.
absolutely fine, but just away from direct sunlight. So any environmental factors that could damage.
Exactly.
But it is supported in a way that it can be enjoyed. So who knows?
Fantastic.
Next
So
time.
yeah, I mean, of course, I think that these are now, these are really a part of history.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so important to make sure that they are preserved. So when that coronation comes again in future years, which hopefully there'll be, many more of them,
Yeah.
that these can then come out, they've been
Yeah.
stabilized, and people can view them.
And it's lovely because you've got the documents as well. So it's that
I kn-
personal
that's what's-
attachment. Yeah.
That is what's so wonderful.
absolutely.
We've got the invite, we've got the invitations as well
Oh, wow.
for both the 1937 and for the 1953. And just having
They
that.
need to be enjoyed.
So, yeah.
They are remarkable, and it's just the grandeur of them and the size. I think you you don't sort of anticipate really what it's like until you get them out.
Right,
And they
right.
are quite theatrical. It's amazing. I mean, could you imagine an abbey full of hundreds of these robes? It must have been quite something.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Brilliant.
Special.
Well, thank you so much, Gemma, and I look forward to coming back here in a couple of weeks and
Perfect.
taking them back to Mapperton.
Lovely.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
At the time of King Charles III's coronation in 2023, I was fortunate to speak with my father-in-law, John Montague, the 11th Earl of Sandwich, about his recollections of the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II in June 1953.
I'll tell you how the day began, though, because the news came through of the conquest of Everest, of Hillary and Tenzing, and this was absolutely amazing news and a really good omen for the coronation. And I remember sunshine at that point in the day, but what happened was that the rain came down after that, and people had been living on the pavement for more than a night and a half, I should think, some of them for 2 nights, queuing, but planting their position.
Yes.
And we were very lucky to have parliamentary access through a ramp with seats on it. So my sister Kate and my mother, I'm not sure who else was there, all sat in the rain watching all these terrible soaked newspapers being driven away by, well, there were people coming and, the horses started coming and they had to clean up the mess before the coach arrived and all that sort of thing.
No, of course.
So it's a rather confusing picture for you.
But you were how old at that time? That's 1950.
So I was 10 years old.
10 years old.
Yes, June the 2nd.
Tell me just a little bit about the excitement of the day, because, Queen Elizabeth you know, she was the longest reigning monarch. She's loved by so many people around the world. And you were there on that day when she was pronounced, you know, officially queen. What was the energy around that day? What can you remember?
So, of course, I can remember the moments of Her Majesty going past in, you know, literally seconds. But I can also remember the troops and all the different regiments that came out. That was the most impressive to a 10-year-old. I acquired a whole not life-size, model in cardboard of the procession. And I kept putting that up in my bedroom, I think, for a couple of years afterwards. So I really was very conscious of what was happening and involved from a distance.
Yes, yes. No, I mean, it's absolutely wonderful. You do remember the Queen coming by in the carriage?
Oh, yes, of course.
Yes?
Yes.
And what do you remember what you saw from her in the carriage? Was she waving?
So I can, well, I can't tell you that detail. I just remember the glimpse of seeing.
Right.
But the horses left manure all the way down the street. So the most exciting thing for 10-year-olds was to seeing the way that they had to scrub up all the manure before something else came along. It was terribly funny.
No, it's just wonderful just to hear your memories. And, you know, something I didn't know that you were actually there in 1953 until recently. And that's why I wanted to have this conversation. One question that I know many people will be asking is the coronation of King Charles III. Were you invited? Because, of course, in 1953, all of the peers were invited to the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II, but things are different this year. So were you invited?
So I think the monarchy has scaled down a bit, I'm pleased to say, from the 1953 experience. And King Charles is very aware of, through his charities, of the involvement of many different people in the idea of monarchy. I mean, that is principally the public, but I think non-governmental organisations, which I've worked with, I understand the whole feeling. They do like to be recognised themselves, and they will be present in large numbers in the Abbey, there's no doubt about that. As whether I personally mind, I have the right, apparently, to stand and watch. I don't think I'm going to do that because the television is so brilliant nowadays.
But you didn't get an official invite to...
So no, what happened was there was a ballot for each party and each group in the House of Lords, and so many drew the ballot. So, I mean, I assume that I wasn't drawn, that's all.
Right. Yes. No, but as you said, this is a new monarchy. Things are evolving, they're different, and rightfully so.
I think it is right. And after all, the Houses of Parliament are only one manifestation, one institution. There's so many others that should be recognised on an occasion like this. It is once in a lifetime, of course.
Thank you very much for sharing not only your memories of 1953 with me, but with everybody here watching, because I think these are important to get a record of, and you know, for us who weren't around during that time, to be able to hear your stories and what it was like to be there. I'm thrilled to be back here at Hampton Court Palace, where I'm just about to head in to see the coronation robe, waistcoat, and coronets, which are currently at the Royal School of Needlework. Can you believe that this is where the Royal School of Needlework is headquartered? I mean, I would love to come to work here every single day. But for me, I get to go pick up the robes. This has been a dream come true, and it's been so wonderful to be able to follow the process from when I found the robes at Mapperton and the amount of work that needed to be done to now being able to see them completed, finished, stabilized, and again, a little bit of repair done as well. Here we go. Oh my goodness. Gemma! Oh my gosh!
Here it
I didn't think
is.
it was going to be set out like this. This is a dream to be able to walk into this. Hello.
Oh, hello, it's lovely to see you again. How
So
are you?
nice to see you.
Yeah. Are you pleased?
I can't, it's like night and day from when I arrived all those many, many months ago with this sort of in a case to now. I mean, it looks proper, regal.
It's amazing. Yeah, as it would have been worn at its last outing. So
Yes.
to see it like this, put it into context, doesn't it, of that, how it would have been worn, and yeah.
I
It's
mean,
incredible. It's such a transformation.
and the work you have done here is just outstanding. So talk me through, let's go through the robe first.
Yes.
I mean, obviously I saw bits of it when it was done, but that was
Yeah.
just a nanosecond.
Yeah, so we, as you know, we started with the surface clean. So we used our very low suction conservation hoover, and that just lifted up any dust, dirt, any eggs that may have been caught within the fur
Yep.
or the velvet. And so that lifted. What's really lovely, the colour is so vibrant. So it hasn't been dry cleaned or chemically cleaned, but the vibrancy of that red is incredible. And it has probably not dissimilar to how it would have been when it was last worn.
Right.
So just lifting all those fibres and bits that would have been on there that if they had been left over time would start to deteriorate, and you would have found little holes and things like that. So it had a good clean, and then we
Incredible.
had a look at the lining. So you can see, do you remember we talked about the pockets
Yes.
where we netted?
That's right.
Encasing those.
Yes, because it was really quite shredding in parts of it, wasn't it?
So it was sort of really which is not uncommon for silk,
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
deteriorating, so it starts to perforate. So encasing it in that net just stops any more movement and loss.
Amazing.
So we are capturing it at this moment in time, and this is how it will always be.
Right.
So netting inside both pockets.
Gosh, incredible.
You've got the lovely ribbon tie. So yeah, it could be worn again.
Yes.
If one so wanted
Yeah,
to.
yeah. Well, I think,
yeah.
I'm probably gonna not let that happen. I mean, the last time it was worn to a coronation, as I think I mentioned before, was 1953 for Queen
Yeah,
Elizabeth II.
wow.
And then my husband has these stories that when he was growing up, they would find it and put it on. So
Yeah.
that I'm going to make sure, I'm afraid, it gets stored properly
yeah.
and doesn't get worn by
Oh,
young
no.
children.
But how lovely though, for your family, for the history, and to carry on now.
I know.
It's
You know, because it really is now, it's a piece of time.
yeah.
And that's what it is. This will not be
Absolutely.
worn again
Yeah,
to another
such
coronation.
a special keepsake
Yeah.
of that time, and
Yeah.
it's
Wow.
come up beautifully.
It's just beautiful. And you're right, the colour.
Yeah, the vibrancy
Unbelievable.
and the velvet. Actually, I mean, given the age, is quite sound still. So
Yeah.
you know, it's not uncommon for velvet to split at seams because of the
Right.
weight of the fur as well. So it has lasted really well,
Yeah.
actually. The fur, not uncommon again, fur does start to sort of shred, so you'll notice there's a little bit of that,
Yeah.
but that's just
But that's
common.
it.
Yeah.
And again, as you said, it's been stabilized.
Absolutely.
Which is great.
Yeah.
So it's in good condition to now be, you know, to be salvaged.
Absolutely.
And not deteriorate
and
anymore.
that's it. And you've caught it at a really good time, so that it won't deteriorate anymore.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
Yeah, really pleased.
Great. And then, oh my gosh, over
Oh
here.
yes. So we so once we'd sort of turned our attentions from the robe, we moved on to the coronets.
Right.
And these are so beautiful. So they again have had a surface clean, and you can pick them up and handle them. You know, you're not scared to hold them
No.
because they are stabilised and.
They look
Could be
so
worn,
much
yeah.
better. And
I
again,
think
the
they're
velvet
amazing.
is
Yeah,
so vibrant.
Yeah. And
Unbelievable.
yeah. So they're beautiful, aren't
and
they?
of course, this would
Yeah.
have been for the Countess.
Yes.
And it almost looks, dare I say, like it's just been, you know, sort
Just,
of.
yeah, like she's taken it off,
Yep.
put it down, and then we're lifting it up again.
Really incredible.
It's quite special, isn't it, to sort of hold these things that would have been worn
Yeah.
at a coronation and now.
It is, and it's
Yeah.
interesting to notice really the difference, which I guess maybe I just didn't take it in before, is that this is that sort of regal
Yeah.
purple.
Yeah.
And then
Crimson.
the crimson,
Yeah.
and then against here, how
Yeah.
extra, and actually I never even noticed this before.
Yeah.
That was there. But yet the Countess would have worn, again, the crimson red.
Yeah.
Interesting, the
Really
distinguishing
exciting,
between
isn't
two, yeah.
And then obviously the waistcoat, which would
Yeah.
have been worn underneath. So this was very poorly
Yeah.
around the neckline here. So again, with the net, we encased it. My favourite thing though is the label. Look, it's got Earl of Sandwich. So we've left it because
Right,
it is its history. So
it is.
yeah.
It's so lovely.
But I always like to think who put that there, you know, and it's that little maker's mark almost.
Do you know
and-
what? When I look at how, I wonder if the Earl, if that's his signature. And the only reason I'm saying that now, because this looks very similar to, unless it was the person who made it, but you just wonder.
Yeah.
This looks very similar to the 9th Earl's signature. So when he
Okay.
would sign his letters
Yeah.
sandwich, he would sign it sandwich, and that does look similar to how he signed his
okay.
letters. So
love it.
perhaps
Yeah.
this
That's him.
that's him,
Wow.
possibly, and
If
he
only
would
you
have.
could tell us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'd have to look back at the 8th Earl and the 7th Earl and see, because we think roughly probably these coronation robes were worn at Queen Victoria's, Edward VII's,
Wow.
5th, George V, George VI, and then Queen Elizabeth II.
Oh, amazing.
But
So when you think of all of that history and how they are,
yeah.
they've not fared badly, have they? So
I know.
how
You know, I
exciting.
mean, which is, you know, that's
Yeah.
well over 100 years.
Yeah.
So I
Exciting.
cannot
Oh,
thank you. And I knew that this had a lot of work. I remember coming in here
Yes.
and we were watching
Jess was working
Jess
on
was
that one.
working on this one.
Yeah.
And look at that, she's stabilized it beautiful with this netting. Gosh.
So it's ready to go.
It's
for-
I can't believe it. So let me just ask you a couple sort of conservation questions. We're going to put these in a conservation box.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that they can be stored away. I'm looking forward to watching you actually pack this up, just because it's interesting for me, somebody who, you know, we have a historic house, we do have textiles.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful that the Royal School of Needlework ran a workshop at Mapperton,
yeah.
which was incredible, using one of the motifs from the Jacobean apron. But when I took that box out to show those students who were coming on the course, I noticed, I was like, oh, I actually need to put in a little bit more acid-free paper into just to make sure that it was really sort of bolstered out.
Absolutely, and it's also making sure that it's stored somewhere that has got a steady temperature as well, so not somewhere that's really cold or somewhere really hot, not somewhere damp, just to maintain the longevity of the piece, because you've gone to all this effort to conserve. It's really important now.
Exactly.
Now is the time to sort of really look after it.
Exactly. Well, I cannot thank you enough, Gemma, and
it's
your
been a
team
pleasure.
here has
Absolutely.
been just outstanding.
Yes.
Right, so
Great.
should we pack them up?
Let's do it.
Okay,
Yep,
great.
Perfect.
Here it is. Oh my gosh! Gemma and the entire team here, thank you all so much. This is a dream come true, and knowing that this is going to be preserved for future generations is just wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So I can't wait to get this back to Mapperton and show it off to the family.
Thank you so much to the Royal School of Needlework. It has been such a wonderful journey and one which I'll never forget. The Earl of Sandwich coronation robes are now safely back at Mapperton and preserved for future generations. And a huge thank you to everyone who donated. It's because of you that this was possible.
The robe and the waistcoat. So what I'm going to do is put this back on. Da-da-da-da. 1 second, 1 second. 1 second. Hold on. And I'm going to place this so that whoever comes in here in 100 years from now, and maybe some of you, if you're going to visit, and if I can convince Luke that this is, actually I'll do it that way, so that's going to go that way, that you will know that in here is a coronation robe. And I'm about to put the label on the waistcoat, but I need to make it a bit bigger. Now, so that's all that.